As we approach the November elections, the race for governor continues to take center stage. Republican candidate Larry Hogan faces off with Democrat Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown. And Fox 45 Morning News reached out to both campaigns for interviews, and both responded yes. Today, I'm joined by Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown. Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for coming in.
Tom, it's great to be here. And you say face off, it's like it's a sporting event, right?
Well, it sort of is. I mean, there's a whole lot going on, a lot of media attention, obviously, to it, just like what a football match, is going on. So there's a lot of I guess, moves and different plays from both campaigns. There is a third campaign in there, Sean Quinn, obviously right. A Libertarian too. It will be on the ballot. But I really want to talk to you about where Maryland is right now. You're coming into your second term here. Mm-hmm. You're going now for the governor's mansion. So where is Maryland? Mm-hmm.
Look, we've done a lot over the last 8 years working together with Marylanders across the state, improving our schools and, safety in our neighborhoods, creating jobs and opportunities. But this election isn't about the past and progress and achievements that have been accomplished. It's really about the future. It's the choice that Marylanders have. And in 39 days, Marylanders are going to go to the polls and there's a choice. And with, Anthony Brown and Ken Ullman, the choice is waking up every day, working and fighting for Maryland's working families and middle-class values, or Mr. Hogan, who seems to favor a small group of the largest, wealthiest corporations at the expense of the middle class. Okay. That's the choice that voters are going to have, and it's really about the future and what's next for Maryland.
Well, you're saying future now. I know a lot of people have equated you with kind of following Governor O'Malley's coattails. You're kind of following that. How do you differentiate yourself as Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown? How are you going to be, as governor, different than O'Malley?
Well, I think for starters, we're different people. I'm a first-generation American. My family immigrated, my father from Jamaica, my mother from Switzerland. I spent 30 years in the military, 5 on active duty, a year in Iraq in service to our
country. Helicopters,
flew helicopters. I was in Iraq as a JAG officer with the Civil Affairs Command. And I spent 8 years in the legislature. Martin O'Malley's background is different. Big city mayor, work with the council. And I think when I talk to voters, the question is less how do I differ from Martin O'Malley, but what's next for Maryland? Okay. So we've made progress in improving our schools, but what's next? And that's why I propose universal voluntary pre-K for all Maryland 4-year-olds. That's why I propose more investments in career technology education, recognizing that not every student that graduates our high schools is going on to a 4-year degree awarding college, but needs some skills to compete in this economy. So that's what's next in education. And that's what Marylanders want to know. How do we build on where we've come? We've been through a tough economy, tough national recession, protracted recovery. What do we do to continue building opportunities and creating opportunities and jobs in Maryland?
Okay. Well, coming up right after the break, I want to get a little bit more personal about the healthcare issues that we have, especially our website. And I also want to talk to you about the contest with Hogan and his accusations now that are coming against you. So, and then we'll also take a viewer's question as well. So stick around right now and we'll be right back. We are back with our Democratic gubernatorial candidate, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown, and we have some questions that we've been asking. Right before the break, we were talking about your campaign, where Maryland stands. Now, one question I want to ask you is about the health insurance website. I know that you were the lead on that. Governor Martin O'Malley said that he had handed it off to you, and then it was almost a national embarrassment. Hundreds of millions of dollars were spent out. How do you come back for that, or how do you answer for what happened to Maryland as we made these switches?
Sure. Every state, including Maryland and the federal government, had difficulties launching the exchange. These are large IT projects. When we launched our exchange and we encountered the difficulties that we did, we got to work and we refocused our vendors, got rid of some of them that didn't perform as they promised to do under the contracts with the state of Maryland. We refocused our leadership and we staffed up call centers and navigators around the state. And as a result, to date, we've enrolled over 411,000 Marylanders who now have access to affordable quality health care. Okay. You've got families who are now covering their kids up to age 26, women who aren't paying more for health premiums because they're women. So right now we're well on our way to the second open enrollment in November, meeting all the tests and the benchmarks, and we are very confident we'll have a successful second open enrollment.
Your opponent, though, has been making some major accusations here. There's been a lot going back and forth between the two campaigns here. Yesterday, though, he had a press announcement. He's basically tying you and Governor O'Malley as doing some things that are typically, without him saying it, illegal in the campaign trail. What do you say about that?
Well, the allegations aren't true, and I think it's part of Mr. Hogan's fantasy world that he lives in. Cheering for failure in Maryland. We have welcomed, and we're talking about the exchange. I know there are allegations that he's making
Pay to play is what he was saying.
Yeah.
You know, you had to pay in order to get in on a bid on that.
Look, and you know, when anyone reviews the exchange, and we welcome a review of what happened, certainly they'll see that the vendors failed to perform. But they'll also see that Maryland stepped up and took some really significant actions to make sure that all Marylanders who needed insurance had access to health insurance. So this is silly season in campaigns, and I think Mr. Hogan's getting pretty silly with his allegations. And why I think he's doing that is he's trying to divert the voters' attention from issues that matter, like, you know, he opposes common sense background checks before we issue gun permits. He opposed the efforts to take assault weapons off the streets. He doesn't want to expand universal pre-K to all Maryland
yesterday
4-year-olds.
he said he does want to. He told us that on air yesterday that he does want to do that, and that's what he was saying, that your campaign is misguiding.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's plenty of opportunities that he's had to commit to universal pre-K, and he hasn't taken any of them. Instead, he'd rather give a large, tax giveaway just to the largest corporations, which is twice the value of what it would take to expand universal pre-K.
The last thing is, so we have some questions from our viewers. We had one, Michael wrote in and he says, how about jobs, he asked. But then he ties in something, so this is a really weighted question right here. How would you control the flow of illegal immigration? And I think he's referring to the thousands of kids that are here in our state. And I want to piggyback on that by saying there are some people in the city right now, you know what, they're working really hard, they're barely making ends meet, their insurance and everything, and then we have immigrants that are coming in, illegal immigrants coming in our state that are now getting educated, vaccinated completely, health, and are provided for everything indefinitely. What's your answer for that?
Well, I think first of all, whether it's the humanitarian crisis of kids at our border or whether it's the flow of undocumented immigrants into this country, it's an example of the failure to pass comprehensive immigration reform in Washington. And you've got a Republican-controlled Congress who has refused to take any meaningful steps to protect our borders, to manage immigration in this country. This country is built on immigrants, and immigrants have made contributions to the greatness that is our country and can continue to do so, but Congress has failed to step up. In regards to the children, I mean, I think all of us would agree that we as people and nations have a responsibility to protect our children no matter where you find them. So the framework that I have established is let's protect the children, reunite them with their families, return them when safe to do so to their country of origin, and whatever expenses the state incurs in education or social services, we have to be reimbursed by the federal government.
All right. Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown, thank you so much for coming in, stopping in, and taking those questions.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Thank you.